Let's hear from Sydney Tanner. Sydney, thank you so much for jumping on today. I know that the Contagious Victories audience is going to really enjoy your victory story. Can you tell us a little bit about Darling and Divine?
Yes, hello Tori and everyone listening. It's so great to be on, and I'm so excited to share my victory story. So, a little bit about me. My name is Sydney Tanner. I currently live in Dallas, Texas with my husband. We recently got married, and it's just been so fun learning to navigate life in a new season, in a new city, because we're originally from Minnesota. And I started my jewelry business 6 years ago, and I've learned a lot through it and pivoted along the way in different areas. We've offered different things throughout this whole 6 years, but I'm most passionate about where we're at now, obviously, through the growth and the hurdles and all the things. And so I guess the short and sweet is that I started it just for fun. I feel like a lot of people start their businesses for fun out of a passion. And I started it going into college and I joined a sorority. I went to Colorado State, and there I just grew a big network of people, and I did a bunch of events, and people were like, you have really something going here. And so it just kind of grew from word on mouth. I remember walking on campus and seeing my jewelry on a bunch of girls I'd never met, and I was like, this is crazy. And so truly from like sorority networking, my business grew a lot in college. And then from there, it's just kind of catalyzed us into 60 events a year, and we have an online presence, and yeah, it's busy. It's really fun.
Wow. Well, I knew you were a business babe, but
Mm-hmm.
60 events a year,
Yeah.
that's something. And then to say that it started from something that was just a hobby at first, but then has grown into
Mm-hmm.
a business, and the impact that you've made on your friends from college all the way to women in multiple states.
Yeah.
So that's really neat that you have been doing this for 6 years. And I want to take it back to the very beginning.
Okay.
So I know you told me you started this from college. What really inspired you to, I guess, get serious about making jewelry? What was that first day like when you're like, all right, I'm going to actually pursue this? And
Yeah.
tell us a little bit from the very beginning.
For sure. So I remember I was walking to one of my College of Business classes with my roommate, and at the time I was on Etsy again just for fun. It was a lot acclimating to college, as many know. Like it's just you're a freshman, the dorms, like meeting new friends, you're in a new place, a new city usually. And so I kind of put it on the back burner, and my roommate when we were walking to class was like, I really think you have something going here. I think you should pursue it more. And so I was like, okay, like I should, start posting on social media more. I should start like prioritizing this. And I started to look at it as like, okay, this is a great project to like implement what I'm learning in class in college to my business. And so it was
Okay.
kind of like the passion project through college, which was really, really fun. And so that was kind of the catalyst was I got a nudge from my roommate, and she was like, I think you could really do something with this. And then from there, yeah, just worked hard and tried to grow it as much as I could.
So, your victory story from the very beginning started with that support from a friend who really urged you to take that leap. Did she
Mhm.
help you come up with the name, Darling and Divine? How did you come up with that name?
Yeah, when I realized this past year that I wanted to pivot and grow the business and make it more mature, I started praying over what do I want the name to be. And I
Okay.
was working out, and the name Divine came in my mind, and I was like, that's so random. Like I'm literally lifting weights. How I was like, Lord, like speak to me, like how, like what do you want this business to be named? And I heard the word divine, and I was like, okay, like are we trying to do like a fitness business now? Like what is his plan in this? And then I just started thinking about it more and praying. And I was like, is there a word to accompany it? And I was like, playing around with things and praying more. And the word darling came to mind. I was driving up to meet a friend, and that came to mind. And I was like, okay, like darling, divine, like those were just two words in my head playing around. And the meaning behind it is like we have a divine king, and we're children, daughters of a divine king, but we are also his little darling. And like he's our father.
Oh,
And so it's like like the sweet moments of like we are divine, but then we're also like someone's little darling. And the name actually like formally came to be, Tori, when we were at the Heart Conference, the Heart University Conference.
Yes.
And I was chatting with some gals about like I'm, pivoting, renaming my business. Like this is, I have these two words and one girl was like, "Well, what if you, put the N like the ampersand symbol between them and do darling and divine?" And I was like, "I think that's it." And the more I was praying on it, I was like, "Yeah, this is perfect. Like it's like the evolution of a name I needed." And so that's kind of how the name came to be.
Oh, that is such a good story. And you are so right. The darling does come through. It's just this precious, but also very feminine, like a
Yes.
daughter of Christ.
Mhm.
And I loved the name before,
Yeah.
but now that you've explained it, that just makes me really appreciate it. And the story
Yeah.
behind it is really, really so interesting and so precious.
Thanks.
And you sell jewelry. Your business is a jewelry
Mhm.
business. So
Yes.
that darling really does lean into that jewelry of having these
Mhm.
precious pieces that you're passionate about creating, but people are passionate about wearing too
Yes.
because they want to show off just a unique side of them. I love the simple but also very creative and unique designs that you have. What words would you use to describe your jewelry for some people who haven't seen it before?
Yeah, I think you hit it right nail on the head. Our motto is uniquely designed like you because as children of Christ, as daughters of Christ, we're each uniquely designed and our jewelry should be just as unique as us, and help emulate that beauty, that natural beauty we all have, but it shouldn't take away. And so that's our mission at Darling and Divine is to create jewelry pieces that just help every woman glow. They're very dainty and delicate, but they each have a story, which I think is the really fun part.
Okay, and that is really fun. Have you always been a fan of accessories, or is this something that just sprung up while you were in college?
I think, jewelry can be like a fun hobby for many to make. You can look up like how to make jewelry, and that's kind of how it started. Me and my friend in high school started making it, and then going into college, I kind of carried it on. And so I wouldn't say that I like was like obsessed with accessorizing. I think it was more so I had fun being creative and I loved to DIY things. And so it just kind of grew from there naturally. And now obviously I'm obsessed with layering and accessorizing and finding ways to like wear jewelry when you're swimming or working out or just all of life's moments. So all of our jewelry is non-tarnish, hypoallergenic, waterproof, and that's something I really value is because I personally love working out and so I want to, look cute in the gym. Who doesn't? And so that's a big value of mine.
Well, I'm looking at you now. We're video recording, and this episode's going to be on the YouTube channel, so
Yes.
be sure to look out for it. Now, I personally did not put any jewelry on because I was worried
Mhm.
about it. With the podcast, sometimes I have
True.
headphones in and stuff like that, but you've got some in, and they're not
Yes.
messing with anything. So I love that you described your jewelry as something that you can layer, you can wear to the gym, you can
Mhm.
wear, out in the water, and even on a podcast, as I see.
Yes, no matter what
And
you're doing.
yeah, and that just makes your brand stand out even more because you're showing by example how easy it is to look cute, to wear accessories, and to show and express yourself as the unique person that you are, but also in a very practical and simple way that is very pretty and feminine. And so I'm going to have to get some earrings, and then that
Yes.
way I don't have an excuse next time for not having any in.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Well, so I want you to tell me a little bit about your favorite pieces. I know you said
Mhm.
you like to layer. Do you
Yeah.
wear a lot of necklaces? Like when you wake up and you go to your jewelry, do you put on the same stuff every day? Like tell me about your favorite pieces.
Yeah, currently, I mean, it's always changing. I feel like everyone's favorite things are always changing. So, currently, my favorite combo because they match is our pearl foundation huggies, which is what I'm wearing right now. They're super lightweight. They are a pearl middle, and then on the outside, they have a little ribbing, and then the chain is like a huggy, which is really fun. And then the necklace, which I usually am wearing, but I'm not wearing right now, is it complements it. So it's a satellite chain. So it's a chain with little gold balls on it. So if you go on our website, you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is just incentive. You should go on the website, check it out. And I'm doing 15% off with code victory for the listeners. So definitely check it out. But
That
the
is so generous, Sydney. Thank
Yes.
you so
Oh my
much. That's
gosh.
really sweet.
Of
Y'all should
course.
go. Yes, victory. Make sure
Yeah.
you cash in on that. That's good. Okay.
I know you're good. And so then the pearl foundation necklace complements the earrings. So they're like they go together. When I designed them and sketched them out, I was like, I want something that they're each unique on their own, but together, like you can tell that they're a set. So the necklace, the charm is the same exact charm as the Huggies, and it's stunning. So everyone that gets them and wears them is just obsessed. And so I can guarantee you'll be obsessed too.
Well, don't laugh, but what's a Huggy? Describe that. I've never heard
Yes.
jewelry described like that. Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So a Huggy is an earring that has a lever back on it, and so it like closes. So
Okay.
if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see what I'm demonstrating here, but the back half like bent like comes back and then connects and clicks together at the top. So it's like a seamless hoop, you know?
Yes, I do have one pair of earrings that are like that. I did not know that's what it was called,
Mhm.
but those are like my favorite earrings. And
Yeah.
so to hear that yours are the Huggies, now I know what to shop for when I use
Yeah.
that victory code. That's
Yes.
really good to know. Thank you, Sydney, for
Mhm.
explaining
Of
that.
course, yeah, and Huggies are really popular right now because I think women are wanting to wear their jewelry out being active or just doing life. Like we shouldn't have to stress about like our earrings not being fit for our day-to-day activities. And so Huggies are awesome because they're seamless and so they don't snag on anything. And so it's just a seamless pair of earrings that again, you can wear for anything, which is really nice.
Yeah, and as I'm looking at the ones that you have on, they're moving a little bit, but they're really not moving too much. It's
Right.
very elegant the way that they're hanging. So,
Yeah.
very cool.
Mhm.
Hopefully, listeners, you have a visual idea just by the way that Sydney described her earrings
Yeah.
of what she has on. But yes, if you're at a place where you can go and check out our video, check out her website, we're going to have all of the links for her Instagram and shop on the show notes, but you've got to go and check it out and see all of the beautiful jewelry that she has. So, yes, incentive to go and check that out right
Mhm.
now. Well, I know that you have been creating more as a individual, as a, woman. So
Mhm.
outside of the business, you've been doing some things like working out and spending time in the gym. You create for your YouTube channel, is that right?
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that and
Yeah.
how's that been going?
Yeah, it's been so fun. So I got into like consistently working out. I feel like right after college, I started dating this guy. He was super into fitness. He's now my husband. So that helps.
Good
Yeah,
story. Yeah,
good
that's a victory
story. That is
story.
a victory story. And so, yeah, we work out. We actually just bought a house and moved in this past weekend, which is so fun.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
so exciting.
Yeah,
Well, and then what a great little memory too, as like a new
I
chapter begins.
know.
That's another victory
I know.
story.
It
Oh,
really is. And
I love that for you.
thank you. And so the town we moved into doesn't have like a gym really, and so we're like, well, we're just gonna turn our garage into like the best home gym ever. So this weekend we spent time like making it aesthetic, and we painted it all black and making it really
Oh.
sleek and moody and all the things. But yeah, it was a great Memorial Day weekend. So basically got into working out and being more consistent. Obviously, having accountability is super helpful. And I started at F45. Have you heard of F45, Tori?
I haven't. No, you want to tell
Okay.
me about it?
Yeah, so it's a 45-minute class, hence 45. It stands for functional 45. So it's HIT style workout. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's cardio based. And then Tuesday, Thursday is strength. And so it's really easy to just get consistent with it because it's fun. You show up, you can have like two brain cells going and like you have a workout plan, which I feel like is half the battle is figuring out what the heck you're going to do at the gym. And
Right.
so I got really consistent doing that. And then I actually started coaching at F45. And then from there, I started coaching in Dallas once we moved here and a bunch of different gyms. And yeah, it's just been so fun. I love honoring my body through working out. And I think like that's something I'm really passionate about is like physical movement, like to honor Christ and bear a cross that way. And so I think working out's just a great outlet.
It is. I bet you meet a lot of new people too going to the gym, and it's something I feel like on a social level that people love to do as well. And so I
Yeah.
have stepped away from that, but you're inspiring me right now to get back to it
Yes,
just
girl.
because, all the different reasons that you listed are really
Mhm.
good reasons. Well, you talked about painting your garage this weekend and
Mhm.
turning that into a home gym. Is that something that you have been sharing about, like the process online,
It's
creating
a
content
it's
around
a
it? Because it
great
seems like
question. Yeah.
it seems like when I saw your YouTube channel, I remember I've seen a couple of your videos, but
Mhm.
one of them had more of a workout fitness, and then some
Mhm.
of them were like, talking to the camera about
Yeah.
like just lifestyle
Yeah.
stuff. So I was just curious to hear if that's a part of your online presence.
Yeah, great question. So am filming and currently editing a
Okay.
reel for like our garage transformation. And so on my Instagram, which is at Sydney period Tanner, which I know Tori's putting in the show notes, but there'll be like a transformation reel I'll be posting, I think sometime this week. But with YouTube, I love YouTube and I started out strong. I was like, I'm going to post every week. And I'm sure you feel this with a podcast, but it's so much work. And I was thinking about what outlets in my life like do I want to keep pouring into, and I'm not like completely stepped away from YouTube, but at the moment I'm funneling like a lot of my energy towards my business because like Lord willing one day I pray that we can be full time, and like that would be so awesome. And so I think it was a challenging decision to be like, okay, I'm going to pause right now, but that doesn't mean I can't come back to it in the future, obviously. So
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess the algorithm was just doing you right because I didn't look at the timestamps. I just know that I kept seeing more videos pop up that
oh,
were
that's
yours. So
awesome.
I wanted to let you know that your content is still reaching
Oh,
people. And so even if you have stepped away from it, your message, is still affecting and inspiring people online.
oh, thanks,
So, and I
Tori.
can't wait to see that reel. So,
Yes.
listeners, another thing you're going to have to check out because the way that you talked about how you painted it and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I'm just excited to see how that transformation comes along
Thanks,
because
girl.
that's really cool. I
Yeah.
don't know if I think it was the Armchair Expert podcast. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. The host was talking about how he got like this big sign to put in his garage and
Mhm.
named his home gym like a real
Uh,
gym. So there's some inspiration
that's
if you're interested.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe naming it. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to. We talked about putting have you heard of the man in the arena quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
a good
my
quote.
husband loves that quote. And so we talk about maybe putting like a piece of art that has that quote in it just because it's so good. But I don't know. I'm all about the aesthetics. So I was on Pinterest looking at inspo and trying to pull from it. But right now the garage is black, which is pretty crazy. Like we walked our neighborhood, everyone's garage is white, and then there's ours. It's just the novelty.
Well, it's going to come together and just let it unfold as, time
Mhm.
goes on. We've done a good job of like unpacking and everything, but
Mhm.
there's still weekends where we'll do a little project and stuff. So just leave, space and room for it
For
to just
sure.
fall together. It'll
Yes.
come together.
Yes.
Well, as a business owner, creative, as a woman, do you have any recommendations of things that are really interesting to you right now, like podcast or books, anything like
Mm.
that?
I would say if I guess speaking to some like my previous self, right? Like 10 years ago, what would be resources that would be beneficial for me? Right now, I am loving the Product Boss podcast. I've been listening to them for a couple years. Have you heard of them, Tori?
No, I haven't, but I love a good podcast recommendation. So,
So
okay,
they are phenomenal.
The
Yeah.
Product Boss. Got it.
The
Okay.
Product Boss. So it used to be two girls, Jacqueline and Mina, but Mina, I believe, stepped away and she's doing her own thing now. But they both have grown very successful, multi figure product based businesses. And they just really break down and give like a bunch of application steps to how to implement things and get the wheel moving forward. So that's really great. And then I feel like everyone knows who she is, but Jenna Kutcher, the Gold Digger podcast, she is phenomenal.
I do like hers. I've been
Hmm.
listening to hers for years and love the rebranding she's been doing lately.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So she's great. And then I guess any other things I'm loving? I feel like lately there's been so many Amazon dupes that have been so good.
ooh,
For like
okay.
free people. I love free people. So Amazon dupes are always great.
Do you share your recommendations on Like to Know It, or do you have like a page where you link some of your
Yeah,
favorite products?
I have an Amazon storefront, but I'm trying to get more into like to know it linking everything, but I also feel like how much energy am I trying to put into like every single platform? I know you know how it is.
I definitely know how it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So I don't have a like to know it, but I link all my Amazon things in my storefront.
Okay, I'm going to have to check out the dupes you've been sharing
Yeah,
lately.
there's good ones. It's just crazy to me like how there can be like literally identical clothing, you know?
So, funny story, I do know. Dylan, my husband, heard me order a dupe once. And
Mm,
so it was like a jumpsuit. I think it was a Free People dupe.
mhm.
And he didn't realize like what dupe meant, as in like another version of it,
Right.
that's more
Yes.
affordable. And so he just thought that the item itself, like the design of the garment was a dupe. And so every time like we're folding it or I'm doing laundry and stuff, he's like, "Oh, this is your dupe." And I'm like, "Dylan, the dupe is the idea of it, not the
Yeah,
actual,
like
one
style.
suit." Yeah. And so we always laugh at that word, just dupe in general. So
Yeah, that's so
funny,
funny. I love that story.
funny, random, yeah,
Yeah,
tangent.
what would you say is something you're loving right now?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. I recently got into some new podcasts that are not self help, like
Mm,
more fiction, like science
mm,
fiction, which I've never really been in, but I love to listen to things while I work, and music is
mhm,
great. But sometimes I find myself getting into a habit between like listening to certain artists and then just listening to like my favorite podcast.
mhm.
So I have reached out in a different genre and have found that it's been really helpful to kind of have something a little bit interesting going on in the background.
Yeah,
So
which ones have you
um,
been listening to?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
So the Midnight Burger is
Oh,
one. It's about a diner, which I grew up working in a diner, so that one
yeah.
kind of had a little bit of nostalgia for me.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
check out some fiction. It gets you kind of thinking differently.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you got to come on and share your victory story. Is there anything else that we may have not covered that you want to share with the Contagious Victories audience?
I don't think so. I appreciate you having me on. And again, use code VICTORY for 15% off of darlinganddivine.co. And yeah, orders ship same day. So you'll get it quick. It's
Oh,
it's great for gifts, which is awesome. So yeah, super stoked to have been on this episode.
I was going to circle back to the victory promo code that you shared. Sydney is so gracious to share this promo code. So, yes, 15% off your order, and you can go to darlinganddivine.co to shop all of the pieces that she talked about, like the earrings that she has in, and the beautiful necklace that she described, and then so much more. I was on her
Mm-hmm.
website earlier today, and I've been following for a little bit, and I've sent it to my husband. Hint, hint, Dylan. I'm going to go and use that victory code and pick out something that I like. But
Oh, so
you
sweet.
can also do the same, listeners. And yeah, also go ahead and follow Sydney on Instagram. It's Sydney.Tanner, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sydney, for coming
Yes.
on.